Hello friends, my name is Steve and this is Steve Talks Books. Thanks for coming by and watching my weekly update. It's where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, what I want to read, what I didn't get to, stuff that's going on the channel, and other fun topics. If you're new here, I typically read grimdark and horror, but I'm open to any genre. I've been reading lots of grimdark lately, just been kind of what I've been into the last month or so, but I'm open to any genre. I also like to talk to people. You may notice lots of conversation and interview videos on the channel. I like to get to know people, hear their stories, like to hear about their journey. Just like to shoot the breeze with people and learn things. You learn a lot by talking to people, getting to know people. That's something that I really enjoy doing. So let's start with what I was reading last week. So last week I did read and finish The Hand That Cast the Bone by H.L. Tinsley. It's the follow-up to We Men of Ash and Shadow. And We Men of Ash and Shadow was one of my favorite books last year. It was a year full of many great reads, and We Men of Ash and Shadow was up there. It almost made my top 10. It was way up there. And I was really excited to have the opportunity to read The Hand That Casts the Bone. It's not released just yet, but I think pre-orders are available. So go pre-order that if you are interested, if that sounds interesting to you. And of course, read We Men of Ash and Shadow first. It's a great book. And this book takes off right where We Men of Ash and Shadow leaves off. And I won't get into any spoilers, but this book is a lot funnier than I expected it to be. There's a particular scene with the cat it's great. It's been cute. We had a good laugh about that earlier Saturday, and I'll get to that here in a second. But it was another great read. And this, we talked during our page chewing episode today with Holly Tinsley or H.L. Tinsley about having a voice, about how as an author, when you start to write more and more, you start to develop your voice. And instead of wanting to sound like authors you really admire or you enjoy reading, you start to have your own voice. And I think in this book, I really saw that difference. And it seemed like it was and We Men of Ash and Shadow was really good. It was really very well written. I didn't have any complaints about it. But I think in The Hand That Casts the Bone, there was a different feeling to it. Not totally different, but there was a little bit of a change in a good way. So I really did enjoy that. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you are interested in that series, and go read We Men of Ash and Shadow. I also finished The Grey Bastards by Jonathan French. We are having a group read for this, and we are planning a get-together with Jonathan French to discuss the series probably in late May. So there's still time if you'd like to join us for that. It's open to anyone. Check the forum, and we will be choosing a date here soon. I have to schedule all that, but that is coming very soon. So that was another book I really enjoyed, and I also started. I tried to start yesterday. Deadhouse Gates. It's the second book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series that we're having another group read for, and I'm only about 60 pages in, but it is. I have a different feeling on this book than I did Gardens of the Moon. It is. I'm not sure if it's because of my experience with the Gardens of the Moon, or maybe I'm just adapting to the writing style or what it is, but I do feel very, very comfortable reading it. It feels, Gardens of the Moon felt like it was a change of pace, and Deadhouse Gates so far has been great. I particularly enjoyed the prologue. I thought the prologue was very good. I really enjoyed it. And I'm also chipping away at Hull of Bones by Tim Hardy. It's a Norse Viking-inspired dark fantasy book, dark fantasy series. I'm getting into that first book. I'm chipping away at that. I tend to prioritize my group reads just because there's dates on those and I have to get them done by a certain time. So the ones that, whenever I do have a group read going on, so I try to get those done first and then chip away at the others as I can. So this week I'll be reading Deadhouse Gates, and by the size of Deadhouse Gates and judging by the amount of time I've had recently, I probably won't finish before next Sunday. So I'll probably read that all week. If I do happen, by miracle, to finish before then, I will be starting The Winter Road by Adrian Selby. We are having a deep dive into The Winter Road later this month, or later in April. And this week on the channel, my interview with GM Nair posted. That's available as of Wednesday. And I also recorded an interview with Armanis R. Feniel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. We did record that Friday. That'll be done. That'll be released here shortly. On Saturday, we did have episode 3 of Page Chewing with P.L. Stewart. And I just want to mention the second book in the Drowned Kingdom saga is available for pre-order now. So be sure and pre-order that. And I'll have the details down below to contact P.L. Stewart to order your copy. And our guests on episode 3 were H.L. Tinsley and Tim Hardy. It's always kind of tough to do the UK, getting the UK folks on camera, especially this time of year, because I always mess up time zones and the time changes and stuff. So thankfully it all worked out. I had a great time. We talked writing the second book, like what to avoid with the second book. And for Page Chewing, I bring the perspective of a reader. I'm not a writer. And PL brings a perspective of an author. So I think we have a really great dynamic there with our guests because I have my perspective as a reader and he can relate to them as an author. So I think that works really, really well. So I'm really glad that this is working out the way it has. I'm having just a blast, and PL is just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So it makes it a lot easier. And he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this series. He's having guests lined up and it makes my life a lot easier. So it's working out really well. Also this week, my review of Flesh Rehearsal by Brian Bowyer posted. It's a book that I read a couple months ago, but I'm trying to catch up on all these book reviews. And this week on the channel, my interview with Thomas Howard Riley, the author of We Break Immortals, will post on Wednesday. That's all done and in the can, ready to go. I'm trying to spread these out a little bit more to not bombard all of you with these really long videos, trying to spread them out, trying to be better about that. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm also recording an interview with Brian Stavili. I think I'm mispronouncing Brian's last name, but let me know if I am. So if you have any questions for Brian, please leave them down below in the comments. I am also interviewing Sean R. Bell on Friday, and on Saturday, I'll be interviewing Nicole Eisner and Beverly Lee to discuss our collaboration series and just talk horror and other fun topics with them. I'm so excited for that because Nicole and Beverly are both just awesome. I love chatting horror and vampires with them and just general stuff. So looking forward to that. I'm grateful for all the opportunities to talk with all these awesome people. So Nicole has become a friend of ours. We have signed copies of her books. We had a great experience reading her book, Beguiled by Night. And so it's great that I have the chance to chat with Nicole Eisner again. Also this week, my review of The Grey Bastards will post, and maybe one other video, maybe one other series video that I plan to record. I'm not sure. We'll see how the week plays out, what kind of time I have. So at least that one, though, I plan to record that right after I'm done recording this. So you may have remembered that, if you've been around a little while, I have been discussing and been recording some short stories. And I read them off and I post them on the podcast. They've been I have pretty warm reception to them. I've just been very busy. I haven't had the chance to sit down and get them done. And when I have had time, it just wasn't working. When you want to do something and you sit down to do it and it just doesn't work and you're like forcing it. I've been trying to get better about not forcing things like that. So my plan, and let me know what you all think about this, is it's kind of similar to what I did during Short Story September, but a little different. So I've been wondering what I'll be doing for content in May, because in May I'm going to StokerCon for almost a week. So I've been wondering what is my plan for May? What am I going to do for content? Because I like to keep content consistent. So I thought maybe I'll record a couple of reviews or I'll do something. But then I thought maybe, and let me know what you all think about this, I will read a short story on the podcast. And on the same day, I'll have a YouTube short review for that same short story. So on the same day, the short story will be on the podcast of me reading it. And then I'll have a review of the short story, but YouTube shorts are only 60 seconds or less. So it'll be very short, very quick, but it'll be every day in May. So I hope to start doing those soon to catch up. I hope to have all of that done before May 1st. I hope to have the whole month completed. So I'll be getting the schedule together for that here soon. So let me know what you think, if that's of interest to you or not, but hopefully it's of interest to somebody. That's something I hope to do. But during Short Story September, I did do the reviews, and some of them went a little bit too long. I think they were like 10 plus minutes. So this time around, I hope to do something very short and sweet. And then you can listen to the same short story that I review on the podcast. I think that's kind of neat. So how's your week been going? Let me know what you've been up to. What have you been reading, watching, or listening to? I always like to hear what you're up to, how what's going on in your life. There's special events coming. Let me know what you're up to. This week I started listening to Babes in Toyland. I didn't really know much about them before. I just kind of stumbled on their music, but they were formed in the late 80s and broke up in the year 2000. So yes, they do fit into that kind of grunge 90s style music that I'd said last week. It was my comfort music. And I really enjoyed hearing comfort music from everyone. I think that's really interesting, the way everyone has a different opinion on what comfort music is, what they kind of like, what makes them feel good when they listen to it, kind of something safe and cozy. So I've been listening to that. And I mentioned this, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, but I've been trying to get more into hardcore, like more like metal. So I found a couple of bands. One of them is Code Orange. So I started listening to Code Orange. I have a line where if the vocals and it just becomes, the melody is lost, like it's just like screaming and yelling. I kind of lose interest. So I'm trying to find where that line is for me, where I can deal with screaming and I need a little bit of, smooth. I need that smooth that a little bit. I just can't do like the hardcore stuff, but I'm trying to find that line. So Code Orange so far has been pretty good. And I also found Blood Incantation. It's one of those bands that has some really soft, like symphony style music, and then they get into like the harder stuff. So those are two bands that I've been listening to a lot this week. Also this week, there's a new song from Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. He has a solo career, for those of you who don't know, and he's been dropping music for a long time on for his solo work. And this week, a cool animated video dropped that I think some of you fantasy fans may enjoy. I think it's pretty neat. So I will leave a link to that down below. And I'm curious because I'm old enough to remember when music videos were a big deal back in the 90s and 80s. I remember like particularly like the Guns N' Roses stuff, like when there was like the November Rain, Estranged, and I forget the last song, the last in the trilogy that they made. These videos were like an event. I mean, it was a big deal when like these big bands would drop a video, like even like Nirvana or Metallica or all these bands that during the heyday of MTV, videos became like this big production. Even like R&B, rap and R&B, every genre had, like a couple of artists that went all in on videos. And some of them were like mini movies. I mean, some of them really, I don't know if you could say went overboard, but they took themselves very seriously. So I remember those days when it was like, it was exciting when these music videos came out. And yes, there's lots of stinker videos. There's lots of videos that, some of them just weren't very good. But, and also, I hear a lot of people say, well, they didn't make MTV any money because they were just videos over and over. They weren't profitable for the channel. So I get that, I get that. But before MTV turned into reality TV 24/7, it was fun. It was like an event. It was cool. So I want to ask all of you what you think about that. Do you miss those days, if you remember them, of these big music videos? And it was like an event. It was a big deal. And you loved the song, or just seeing the video was the first time you would hear some of these songs. It was like the world premiere stuff. So let me know if you miss those days or if you don't care for them, or maybe you don't remember them. That's possible too. And also this week I watched the movie Hellbender. It's a Shudder original. I watched that on Friday night, and then I discussed it with the Voices from the Mausoleum and Adam Hulse. He's an author Adam Hulse. We discussed Hellbender, and we went on a couple tangents about Hereditary and A24 movies, and it was a fun discussion. So that'll be on Voices from the Mausoleum's channel. That'll be our collaboration video here in a week or two. So check that out if you haven't already. That collaboration, it's on Voices from the Mausoleum's channel. And also, I've been watching Seinfeld with the family. We've been rewatching Seinfeld. I think we started a couple of years ago from like season 1, and then we kind of stuff came up and we stopped watching. But we started watching Seinfeld, here and there. And back in the day, back in the 90s when when I was like a teenager or whatever, Seinfeld is a big deal, and it was like an event. It wasn't like Game of Thrones type of thing. It wasn't like a water cooler thing, but it was a big deal for a sitcom. And I've gone on record and said I think Curb Your Enthusiasm is better than Seinfeld. And I think Curb Your Enthusiasm is another one you should be watching if you like Seinfeld. It's like an adult version of Seinfeld. But I want to say I've never watched. I loved Seinfeld, but after Larry David left the show, the quality went down, and I stopped watching back when it was being released. I think the last season or two, I just lost interest in it because it just wasn't the same. And I've never seen the finale. I've never seen the Seinfeld finale, and I refuse to watch it. I will not watch it. I don't want to know. I don't want that to spoil my whole experience. I will not do it. So, two questions. One, have you seen the Seinfeld finale, and did you enjoy it? Second, what is the worst finale you've ever seen for a TV show? What is the most disappointing finale you've ever seen? For me, the most disappointing finale for a show that I actually had interest in, Sons of Anarchy is in that conversation, but I think Dexter has the worst finale. Dexter had the worst finale. That's a whole nother discussion. But Dexter should have stopped after season 3. Should have been done after the Jimmy Smith season. And Jimmy Smith is a badass. I don't know. They should have said, we can't get any better than this. Let's just stop. It should have been the end of it. Let me know what you all think about the Dexter finale, the Seinfeld finale, and what is your least favorite finale of all time. And a quick reminder that all of these long-form conversations that I do are on the podcast, on the audio podcast. I do host all the conversations there, so take advantage of it. If you happen to download the episodes on Apple Podcasts, I would really appreciate it if you left a star rating. Even if you hate it, then leave it 1 star. Just leave a rating. I think I have 5 ratings, and I've been at 5 for a long time. So help me out. If you listen, throw a rating my way if you don't mind, if you have a few minutes to spare. All those links are down below, so be sure and check those out. If you want to connect with me, the best place is on our forum. That's where we plan all these book shenanigans and have other fun discussions. I also use Vero for most of my personal stuff. Whenever I'm watching something or listening to something or have a picture of my dogs or whatever, I usually post it there. I am on Twitter at Steve Talks Books. That is mostly book related. I like to most of the time I'm just retweeting stuff that people post just to help them out and boost the signal. And then I post upcoming stuff there sometimes. I'm also on Instagram. I'm not that great at being up to date on Instagram. And I'm also on Facebook, which I haven't checked in like 2 weeks. So there's that. So connect with me there if you'd like to connect with me. I'm always open to chat if someone wants to chat. I do have I haven't scheduled anything or any interviews past like the beginning of May. I think my last interview, I mentioned this last week, is the first week in May, and then I don't have anything planned after that. So I'm not sure what I'll be doing with that, but I am doing page chewing and also the collaboration with Voices from the Mausoleum. So that's taken up. So it's filling the gap for me. So that's just want to mention that's I'm kind of, May is going to be my month where I don't have a lot planned because I'm going to be gone for a week, and it sounds like a long time, but in the content world, I guess it's a little daunting. So let me know how you're doing. Let me know down below how your week is going. What are you excited about? What kind of entertainment are you absorbing? How are you doing? I like to hear all that kind of stuff. It's fun for me. So thanks for coming by, and I always appreciate your time. And you could be watching, you could be doing anything else in the world, and you hear listening to me yap about dumb stuff. So it always surprises me when anyone watches. So thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for watching, because without you, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. I wouldn't want to do this if no one cared. So thank you so much for taking the time. I truly appreciate it. So thanks again, and I hope to talk to you soon.